4, 3, 2, 1.
Hey guys, and welcome to another episode of the I Digress podcast. Today we have a holiday special for you. It is the 6-man podcast. First time ever. To my right is your favorite co-host, the bearded one, the female activist, the man with the fresh trainers, the man who cannot spray anything from his bum. It is Neil Methven.
What? I can't spray anything from my bum.
You can't spray anything.
I mean, I know I'm getting upset, but
yeah, it's like you want to be able to.
Do you want to spray things from your bum?
You forgot dog kicker.
Yeah, but you know.
no, we don't. That's We
bet
covered
try
that
this.
last episode. It's done now. It's dead. That's over with. It's gone.
But the dog you kicked.
Yeah,
That chihuahua got
that chihuahua I
punted.
just punted. Yeah.
Deserved it.
Right. And to my left, it is the big one, the funded, the man himself, Michael Padua.
I am so unhappy that you called me the big one first. And the fact that everyone just giggled. Because everyone knew that it was clearly a joke. But hey.
It could be worse. We're gonna have to bleep out Creamy's ones.
Just pics everywhere.
Gonna have to edit that one.
Yeah, good one.
It's going to be worse when you forget Tim's last name. Who's Tim?
He died too.
That's gone.
Oh, that's gone. And to the left of him, it is Cream Shake, Creamy, the boy from Hull, the man with the biggest guns, Craig Leamy.
That's awkward for Neil now, isn't it?
I mean, obviously, he's the guy. His guns aren't.
Sorry. There's it's a guest, so I'm trying to
I know. Yeah,
pick
but,
up
you
his
know,
ego
yeah,
a little
yeah,
bit.
but-
He's a
but
bit
don't,
nervous,
but
you know.
But don't.
It's
Don't.
the second biggest guns on the show,
I'll take
All
that.
about you, Neil.
Thank you.
Craig
It
Leamy.
is. I'll take that. Thank you. It's an honour to be here.
And
Nice.
Do you want to share my weights?
I don't know if you can lift them.
Okay.
do you know, it's so surprising that like every episode he's curling weights and no one just picks up on it. It's just in the
You know
corner.
what? The worst thing was having to actually bring them down in the car. Like,
Yeah.
all the way here.
Just added
They
weight,
took up so
unnecessary.
much room in the
I
car.
thought you curled them on the car journey.
Yeah, just out the windows.
Yeah, no,
Oh, of course.
I curled the dumbbells, but the barbell, I mean, it was harder to get in the back.
I'm
insane.
surprised you know what that is.
Wow.
Spice.
Shots fine.
Oh, I do normally call it just light work. That's why I do it.
And to the left of
And
him,
we're still on intros, fuck.
it is Mr. Honeyman, Lyle, the most un-Canadian Raptors fan you'll ever meet.
I thought you were just going to stop it. It's Lyle. I was just like...
Just nothing after it.
And yeah, thanks. Happy to be here. I exist.
Don't lie.
So he said enthusiastically.
I definitely exist. That part was true. What's coming next? Cognito.
And last but not least, it is Tim Capstick.
I'm Rob's newest friend. We met.
Once you find out more about him, you could give him a longer intro at the end of it.
Yeah, I was trying really hard to be like a substitute, but that's...
Lyle's friend.
So much editing required already.
I'm just adding more pain for me to actually edit, but it's fine. It's
Thanks for
fine.
having me though, Rob.
It's fine.
nice
It's
to meet
okay,
you.
guys.
It's fine.
It's fine to be here.
Have you ever
Rob
listened
said
to an
it's
episode?
fine to have him.
Okay.
Well, guys, as you can tell, this is going to be one of our craziest episodes. I'm not sure what I'm doing here, but let's dive straight in.
I digress.
Right, guys, time to dive into our first topic of the day. Existential crisis. I know that we're all men in our 20s and we probably suffer a lot of things that we should probably not talk about, but let's have at it.
I'd just like to say, Rob, that you should always talk about things. You should always open up, you know. Don't just bottle it away.
It is Mental Health Awareness Day today
Yes.
as well.
Yeah.
Yesterday.
Sorry, yesterday.
So today we don't give a fuck.
You are.
So today, just stay sad.
Yeah, today just keep it to your fucking selves.
That is pretty much how most men's mental health gets treated.
Yeah, straight up.
Definitely.
It's like, we'll give you a day.
We've done enough on this podcast thing to actually try and open up about it, which is good. So
Yeah.
I think we can get away with making jokes the day after. So it's
Yeah.
fine. We should just have one day a year where we just don't talk about it.
Yesterday we were great to each other, weren't we?
That's true. Yeah.
Well,
Especially
I mean-
Paddy climbing a tree.
You almost did have an existential crisis whilst in that tree.
I was horrible though. I was really scared.
I thought you were going to cry.
he was crying.
Close.
It was.
That's it. Let's just create the scenario. I was crying. Then my shorts fell down. Oh,
He had his,
everyone started pointing.
then he had his boobs out for some reason.
You were really lucky though that I wasn't behind you in the tree
if
because
you
I
were-
straight up would have
If
pushed
you
you off
pushed
of
me,
it.
we would have fought. We would have ended up fighting.
Well, you wouldn't have.
You wouldn't have. You would have
No, we
just
wouldn't have. You would
fallen.
have just fallen out of this tree.
50 foot down, and you would have broken
And
your
you would have
legs.
probably
you would have pushed
died.
me before I had attached myself.
No, I was meant you would do a hard because I pushed Creamy.
Exactly.
And that's
he was
how
harvesting.
serious we treat your fear, deadly
Oh,
fear of
That
heights.
affected my mental health, Neil.
On the topic of existential
Good.
crisis, though, it did make me realize, hey, being alive ain't all that bad. Clearly, I'm still afraid of death, which is nice.
It was fun.
It's nice. It's nice to think about that.
You know what? No.
You guys are not giggling, but
No,
makes sense.
yeah, you guys are googling. I said this to Paddy before we went. I was like, yeah, it's quite a good. It's a nice feeling you're not there. You're like, huh? I do still have this instinct within me to be like, just to try and fight.
To not die.
Yeah.
Exactly. I mean, I kind of thought maybe I'll just look over and be like, oh, you know what?
Maybe I just won't hook in.
It's a bad day. I'm just gonna go for it.
Their catchphrase of
Yeah.
always stay attached. I think they should change it to that.
Sometimes stay attached.
Life's worth living.
Exactly.
Sometimes, you know,
reaffirm your survival instinct.
just test whether or not
Activate
you
grayscale.
actually love to live.
Exactly. Well, that's how I felt about it.
I must say, it was a pleasure to watch you suffer.
It was the funniest thing. I really wish we had some video footage of just you almost
We do.
breaking down.
At the start, I thought Lyle was going to be just as bad as I was. Like, fear-wise, you seem most concerned besides me.
Yeah,
And I was like, but you just handled it really well, and I didn't.
yeah, a little bit scared of heights. I think as well, like, I do have this thing sometimes where, like, if I'm walking over a bridge, I get a fear that I'm going to jump off for, like, no reason.
I get what you
Particularly,
mean.
Like, in our hometown, like, there's a bit over, like, a dual carriageway, and I will, like, find myself walking quicker across it because I just think all of a sudden my mind's going to snap, I'm going to jump off it. I had that moment when we first got up the tree, I was just like, jump. And then I thought, yeah, probably she didn't quite like my life. Value it. I'll keep going.
I was like that when we went across the first bridge. I think I actually shouted that back to Creamy and Neil. I was like, anyone else getting the call of the void over here? I just like looking over the bridge. It's like, oh.
This little bit looks really nice to jump into.
Exactly.
There was a guy that I used to work with, and like that kind of call the voice thing. He had this thing where whenever he like walked over like a really high bridge or anything like that, he would have to like take his phone between like his thumb and pinky finger and like just dangle it over the side, and he just had to do it because it was just in his head. He was like, "Oh, I just need to do it." I don't know, but he does it every time. But like, so we'd be going over. It was when we were in London. We were like walking across this like bridge for like the tube, and he kind of like hadn't done it. And I was like, you don't have that phone thing. And he was like, for fuck's sake, why have you mentioned this now? Now I have to do it. And I was like, good. Because it was really windy, really rainy. And I was just like, go on then. And he was just like, fuck's sake.
Great to go sightseeing with in London, like Tower Bridge, Westminster, Millennium Bridge.
There's a lot of
The
bridges.
Thames just full of phones.
There is 39 bridges on the Thames.
It's podcasts and only jokes. It's all so fast.
Tim can't stick in with the facts.
Lockdown quizzes for Zoom.
Oh, very nice.
We'll continue that again.
But you're just gonna inject the facts every now and then.
I'm here for the facts.
Oh, okay.
It's
yeah.
called I Digress. How do you know what we're going to digress into fact-wise?
He just has lots
Oh,
of
he's just
facts.
locked down on
He's
every
planning
single
to just,
fact.
like,
I
plug
knew
his
Thames bridges were coming into this at some point.
Tim Caps quizzes on Facebook. You can follow us.
It's Tim Cap 23 actually.
Tim just holding the facts and just waiting for his moment to drop. He's just like, bridges.
Just you wait, I've got more.
Digress onto the capital of Bolivia, please.
Give me a second, I've got it.
La Paz.
You shouldn't have said
That's
that.
gonna be
I was gonna say,
massive quiet.
that's going to be the biggest gap you've ever heard. Oh
still
my
thinking.
days.
What was we talking about again?
Existential crisis. I mean, I had an existential crisis when Paddy only completed 5/6 of Go Ape.
He got a 5/6 of the sticker.
I was heavily disappointed in you, I'm not gonna lie.
Yeah, instead of it saying I went outside today, it was just I went out sit to dance.
I would like to point out that I was very proud of Paddy for conquering his fears and completing so much.
That's just because you were rubbish at it too.
Since it's Mental Health Day or Week or whatever
It was.
Awareness
was,
Day.
Was
and I
Mental
feel
Health
like we should
Awareness.
continue the theme. I thought he'd done fantastically well.
No, I didn't.
And to keep the balance, I think he did a horrible job.
Cheers, boys. Things you love to hear.
Moral friendship support here.
It's great. Nah.
Just
I
man.
was happy I did as much as I did.
Yeah.
Tackling your fears is a good way to
Doing some-
fight existential crisis.
Doing it.
Yeah, like a lot of things don't matter, but it's sometimes nice to just be like, hey,
Let me bump slightly to the bar today.
it's better than things not mattering whilst I'm here than things not mattering when I'm not here.
Well, if you have a fear of the unknown,
We
how
all
do you
do.
tackle just anything and everything?
I don't know. Just
If
go
I-
running in the dark.
If I've learned anything from Frozen 2, and I've learned a lot of things from Frozen 2,
I'm all ears.
it's that you should explore the unknown, and the unknown is not to be feared.
But
That's
as they
it's
say,
all about letting it go. And
But then
stuff.
how...
no, they say
That's Frozen 1, man.
Not the harness.
the new going.
Just let it go. It's just
Yeah.
falling majestically from the trees.
sometimes stay attached.
Yeah, sometimes stay attached. Reaffirm your survival instincts.
But his cardigan was lovely.
Even the
That's an
instructor was
existential
slagging
crisis
off.
in itself.
The cardigans, they whisper to you.
Yeah.
I don't know, like, at this age, has anyone actually felt they've actually achieved the bits they wanted to achieve? The
I mean-
successes,
I mean, I didn't want to wear a cardigan, and I still don't, so I think I'm winning there.
winning at
I thought
life.
you were going to say at this age, why do you own so many cardigans?
Wow, he's really gone for cardigan hate all of a sudden.
All of a sudden, everyone hits Paddy.
Exactly.
Not all of a sudden.
Theme for the weekend.
Nah, I don't think anyone at our age, like
a cardigan?
20, I don't think anyone at our age between 24 and 28 has achieved everything they wanted to. And if they had shit aims.
But I think people need to be careful though, because you think, like, say you have a aim of getting to university, you achieve that, but then when you get to university, you then think, oh wait, now I need to get a job, and then I need to be successful at that job. Sometimes people just need to kind of stop and realize, you know, I've probably achieved a lot more than you think, rather than just keep setting yourself goals and goals and goals, because that's when your mind then gets shit.
I thought this
stop and
was
smell the roses.
Yeah.
Yeah, I am bad for that. I feel like I do that a lot. Like, never happy with what you've just achieved. It's like, on to the next thing.
Well, I always think you've achieved a fucking mad amount, to be honest.
At what I've survived.
No, don't give a fuck. I've survived, man. Nah, I'm always really impressed at how well you've done on it.
Yeah,
You managed to
till
get-
we make it.
You got out of Aberdeen. That's always a
Yeah, I
good thing.
mean, that's...
That is...
Got out of Aberdeen,
That is
went
a
back,
picture.
and then got out again.
And that's the Granite City not listening anymore.
We don't want you anyway.
Yeah.
For balance, I love Aberdeen. Beautiful place. I would never visit, but I've heard good things.
Half the people here are from Aberdeen.
That's why they're here.
Yeah.
Technically, we're from Aberdeenshire.
Fantastic.
Even your parents didn't want to live in Aberdeen.
Yeah, pretty much.
I mean, I can't say my parents also left Aberdeen, so
To move to Fife.
yeah. What of it? At
Well,
least you can still go to the pub there.
Mine went to the Philippines.
True, not even in the central
I'm
belt.
to jail.
Because Aberdeen jails are horrible. So they thought, do you know what? A Filipino jail.
jail, man,
That's where they're at.
Philippine jail, way better hygiene than an Aberdeen jail.
Way better. Incomparable, really.
Really, just disgusting.
Right, Rob, take us on the next bit. So, is this the next section? I believe foil hat.
I'm gonna have to call the director.
That's okay. Trust me. Hail Hydra.
Yes, this is a return of the foil hat segment.
Is this just because Paddy's here?
Anytime Paddy's present, he makes me think I need to put on a foil hat because he exudes 5G radio frequency.
Is that just because he has his own mass? his own like gravity.
Yeah, wavelengths, they just get altered as they go round me. It's really a confusing place.
To be fair, we are in the Lake District and none of us have coronavirus and there's no 5G here.
we have
We,
seen
we
one
don't,
lake.
we don't know if none of us have coronavirus.
We also have seen very few lakes. We might not even be in the lake.
But I've
That's
also
a
heard
conspiracy theory
We
right
could
there.
be in the 5G district for all we know.
Oh.
it is a bit weird, but I also heard that if you wear a foil vest, you're pretty much immune from COVID.
Really.
Yeah.
I'm in.
Really.
Sourced.
From where?
I'd love to see a foil vest. Can you make one?
Yeah.
We have tinfoil.
But I say, is
We have
that
a lot of
We
tinfoil.
do have tinfoil.
is that why we got tinfoil earlier?
Odds.
You in a foil vest.
I'd never take mine off.
Well, now
odds,
Google
Rob?
that.
We don't do odds on the podcast. They will get instantly changed.
Just saying, like,
Yeah.
I would love to see Full Fact UK come out with a post that says, we would just like to confirm that a foil vest does not stop you from getting COVID. Some of the stuff that these fact-checked organisations have to put out statements of is just ridiculous because people like Rob say those things.
I was on Twitter scrolling the other day, and like I tend to just, I really use Twitter, but to be fair, I go on every now and then, I just scroll through like Trump's feed, because it's just like, it's ridiculous. Like I saw somebody saying it's like the Cookie Monster. Like if you take a cookie and replace it with like liberals, it's pretty much the same account. But like there was him going like a massive rant about postal votes and how they're just like apparently the worst thing ever. And literally it's him being like, oh, there's going to be thousands and thousands of votes lost and it's going to be ridiculous, you can't trust postal votes. And literally like pinned on his tweet was a thing from Twitter being like, tap here to learn about why you can trust postal voting. And I was just like, literally he's been fact checked by it.
But he votes postal as well.
Who Trump does.
Yep,
He is insane.
Him with the facts again.
told you.
Honestly, like, reading through Trump's Twitter is where I get half of my content.
That's
This
concerning.
Foil hat comes in so many times.
After the foil vest comes in handy.
Fact checking. Just
That's how
non-checking
Trump stays so
things.
slim. He wears like those big sweatsuits, so you're supposed to just overheat.
I mean, 120 kilos, slim.
I heard
That's
that's how he
all
got rid
muscle.
of. I heard that's how he got rid of coronavirus.
All
Yeah.
muscle, and you know.
Sheer muscle.
I know.
Look
Yeah.
how muscular you
Exactly. You guys can all see it now.
are. So muscly.
So ridiculously
So
hench.
glad you're not wearing this up.
Here's actually just...
Wait,
Hold on,
Oh, it wasn't
hold on.
like
Shall I
that.
tear off my foil vest?
There is...
Insert foil noise.
There is a theory that it's just Vince McMahon in disguise.
Donald Trump is Vince McMahon.
He's just so hench. But yeah, Vince McMahon with a wee bit of paint and a wig.
He just strolls down with a swagger like nothing you've seen.
He went from WWE and thought, I want to govern this entire country as an orange fat man.
Yeah. Liberals, you've got no chance in hell!
To Vince McMahon's credit, like the fact that he basically has creative control over the WWE and still has and still takes chairs to the back and has guys clothes like them, like fair play.
It is impressive.
Trump's been on WWE.
That's
true.
Yeah, his
Oh my
head.
goodness.
Yeah, they were
This
in
is
a-
adding fuel to the fire for that conspiracy theory, I think.
Yeah, they were in a-
But you've never seen them both in the same
Yeah.
room.
Trump and Vince McMahon in the ring.
Spooky.
They both like picked a wrestler, and whoever's wrestler lost, they had to get their head shaved off. Like the hair shaved off.
I was gonna say, I'm like, is this like snuff WWE?
This is
Yeah.
insane.
New Japan.
But there was actually a thing. So one of Trump's, there's like a candidate that he was endorsing, I think, for. You know how in America they vote on everything. They vote on sheriffs, justices, all this kind of thing. I can't remember who it was, but it was somebody who supported the QAnon conspiracy, which we've talked about before, which is the one that basically all the celebrities in the world are sex traffickers and basically steal children and siphon them for a chemical that keeps them young.
Yeah.
Except Donald Trump, who is the one who is, saving the planet and is stopping all these people. Huh?
Is that why he looks like
He
shit?
looks
Yeah,
amazing.
because obviously he's not
Yeah,
safe.
'cause
Yeah,
he-
yeah.
He's the hero we needed.
That's what you do when you want to save the planet. It's leave the Paris Accord.
Yeah, exactly. But no, because that's obviously not as important as this massive conspiracy.
Yeah, sorry.
You gotta
How dare I?
rechannel your resources somewhere.
But yeah, so but he literally on Twitter endorsed this candidate who was sharing stuff about this conspiracy and saying that Tom Hanks was nonsense and so on. Yeah, Trump's weird.
How can anyone see
Breaking news.
Tom Hanks?
Didn't they tie that in with COVID? Because was it not when some
Yeah.
celebs started to get
Yeah.
COVID, they started saying
That was
when they're
them getting
announcing they've got
arrested.
COVID, it was them being arrested.
Yeah.
For, traffic.
Eventually, the COVID is just a mask screen just to cover up all these arrests of essentially nonsense.
Yeah, and if you've got to kill a few grannies to do it, that's
Well,
what you've got to do.
It's a price to pay.
I'm actually curious what they would say then, because that was what the QAnon conspirators, what they would say, because at that point, if Trump gets it, do they just go, my God, he's one of them?
But he did get it.
Yeah, no, that's what I mean.
Yeah.
But like, how would they? I didn't actually look. I, mean,
I don't know how to
I
frame
haven't
it, yeah.
looked. I don't follow it, but I wonder how they
Probably got
reacted.
poisoned by all the celebrities.
Yeah,
They probably spiked him, or he drank too much bleach.
Yeah.
He didn't hit the optimal
or
amount.
or too much like youth serum or something. He got spiked with that, and that was
To be honest, it's probably because he took off his foil vest and left himself vulnerable to all the 5G radiation.
Please, can one like some of our merch just be a foil vest? Just like a normal vest, but it's made to look like tin foil.
40 quid foil vest, handmade.
Are you COVID safe?
We have bought tin foil to roast one chicken. We're gonna have lots left over.
I didn't even
gonna be
use
so
it for the
good.
chicken.
It's all
it's all on a vest.
All for vest.
already.
We like to make sure our chicken is COVID free.
We're going back into the real world tomorrow. Like the Lake District, no 5G, COVID safe out there. Get your vest on.
Wild.
Get your vest.
Yeah, this is all recorded on a 3G network, so we're safe.
So for the guys that haven't been on the pod before as well, namely Creamy, Tim, Lyle, do you guys have any conspiracies that you know about or think are hilarious?
Might have been discussed before, but flat Earth.
Kyrie
Sorry,
Irving.
the conspiracy theory of there being a round
Around
Earth.
there, yeah.
Yeah. Sorry, I was going to mention that.
If the world was round, would we not just go like up in a helicopter and then just wait for it to turn and then land somewhere different?
Exactly.
It's true. I
When
mean,
I'm in my car, I have to run as it drives. It's
You can
relatively-
run?
It's not the Flintstones.
I think that's a
Why would you have to
conspiracy.
run as
Checking
your
out
car
that I didn't
drives?
run.
Why would you have to run as your car drives?
Because he's in the Flintstones.
Yeah.
That's what I
Sheffield.
was not getting
What
at.
was that?
Sheffield, have they not quite reached, like, you know, the first century?
Oh, I mean, it's really old school.
Oh.
He works in a
Yeah,
quarry.
You're right. First century, famously when cars were invented.
I don't know
Yeah,
if
I'll
that's
take
a
that.
conspiracy theory in itself. Just Sheffield
Cars were
reaching,
invented in the first century.
Sheffield reaching the age that we're at, or Paddy running.
Daddy, yeah.
What's more believable?
You use a lot of heavy machinery at your work, don't you, as well? Or not you, but it is there. Yeah. Is it
A
but is it
butter
that, or
knife.
is it dinosaurs? Is it dinosaurs like with, you know, like do you use like Diplodocus for like cranes, etc.?
Oh, yeah, it depends.
Do you have
One
elec-
for every task, obviously.
Gotcha.
Obviously.
Oh, it makes sense.
Do you have electricity in Sheffield?
No, it's all oil candles and stuff, man. It's tough. It's a tough life. I have to bath in the same water every single day. That's why I smell horrendous. Thanks, guys.
I feel like we've lost our Sheffield listeners now.
We didn't have
I'm the general.
We didn't have
Can't
any.
hear it. This isn't on the wireless.
I'll say Paddy is our Sheffield listener.
Thank you.
I think one of my favorite conspiracy theories is about like aliens previously visiting Earth. So like whatever they call it, something astronauts, but it's essentially
Ancient alien, ancient
yeah,
aliens,
ancient
so-
astronauts.
Yeah.
But whenever like it's only used to just justify work from other civilizations. Like we find something really cool and old in Greece. It's like, oh, the Greece did a fantastic job. We find something cool and old in Ethiopia, and we're like, must have been aliens.
Yeah. No, I've also heard that.
racists all the time.
Yeah, it is like a racist conspiracy theory because they're just like, well, you know, white men couldn't do that, so
Yeah.
Has to be aliens.
Yeah, like we hadn't colonized by that point.
yeah,
There was nothing there before we got there.
yeah.
As soon as you can tie in like aliens, racism, history, it's just oh.
I mean, it's basically the basis to start a really good podcast, if you ask me.
I was going to say, isn't that
Spin-off.
just like Fox News?
Yeah,
Just to a T.
They lack on history.
All the Democrats are aliens.
Anytime they see something like suspicious, they're like, aliens everywhere.
Lyle, don't you believe we live in a simulation?
No, yeah, maybe.
This is one of Lyle's theories, by the way.
I didn't make it up myself, but yeah.
I think the Matrix did.
Have you just the Matrix? No, well, I guess it's just it's about progressive technology, innit? Like you think if there's, you know, we have supercomputers and you can make a simulation that feels really detailed to the things in that simulation, and they would do the same thing. They would do the same thing.
If humans are able to make simulations that are able to simulate a consciousness, the odds that we're all in a simulation go up massively. It's unlike, because I mean, you wouldn't do like one or two simulations, you'd do millions.
Yeah.
Which would mean your chance of actually being real is like 1 in a billion.
And those simulations do simulations. I think the thing that doesn't go explained on this is that if you agree that we will make simulations that can have consciousness, and you think that's a possible outcome, then there's 3 possible outcomes, and each either like the first civilization would have killed themselves before they get to that point. They would develop the technology and decide it's unethical, which we're not really good at doing that.
No.
Or we would develop the technology and use it. So either the first civilization like dies out before they can do it, or they do it. So
I
I guess
think
it's about statistics. I don't actually believe it. It's just
It's
an
really
interesting
50-50.
statistical point.
I mean, everything is.
But like
Yeah.
no, but from the way you look at it as well, like we are on as stands like a collision course with climate disaster. So that's
Yeah,
also a possibility that we just won't reach that point.
That's
because-
something. Yeah, what was if it's the first option
Yeah.
that
Yeah,
we just
exactly,
haven't
yeah,
made
yeah.
it yet?
Just an interesting statistical point rather than I think it. I definitely didn't think I'd be on a podcast, so it does feel kind of like a simulation. at the
Anything's
moment.
possible. And to be honest, anytime I think that we're living in a simulation, I just think that whoever's chosen me as a character has just went on extreme difficulty.
They did that in South Park. So like choose your difficulty on one of the games. It's like easy starts as white, and then as you get as you increase the difficulty on the game, your skin color gets darker.
It's so
so bad.
It's so bad.
Like you get less money for doing things.
Yeah,
It's so savage.
I was like, welcome to the real world. At least South Park gets it. Oh, days.
There was also a conspiracy theory I know nothing about, but it was that.
Great.
It's always great to jump into
You
that.
sound just like a conspiracy theorist.
Just, it probably has the same standing as if you knew everything.
Oh, yeah, no, it was just that. I think it was that basically China controlled the weather.
Was that Donald Trump though? No.
No.
I believe it.
Wasn't that one of mine?
Yeah, you came up with one like that as well. Yeah.
My foil hat segment was great. My other one was dinosaurs that built pyramids and stuff.
I
That
think
was a real one.
Yeah, in Ukraine.
Which
In
is why
Ukraine.
you obviously think that in Sheffield there's dinosaurs helping.
Well, you had to get it from somewhere.
Is there pyramids in Sheffield?
That's an
Really
excellent
secret
question.
ones, I'm sure. Maybe that's a conspiracy.
Maybe.
I just haven't seen them yet.
Are you part of the Sheffield conspiracy?
Maybe I'm. None of you guys have been to Sheffield yet. For all you know, I'm not even there.
Wait. Well, I've just googled this and then have found an actual Wikipedia article that's saying the Beijing Weather Modifications Office is a unit of the Beijing Meteorological Bureau tasked with weather control in Beijing, China.
But isn't Beijing literally just 90% smog?
Yeah, it's true. That's probably what they're trying to control.
This doesn't sound like a conspiracy theory. It sounds like a really good news article that they're trying to alleviate global warming.
Yeah, reduce pollution.
They are doing that.
Yeah.
In the
I
most,
can confirm.
in the most
China.
polluted city in the world.
This is how conspiracy theories get started. Just you don't have someone to advise that sounds ridiculous.
One man tries to cure pollution, the other man thinks you're controlling the weather like some hideous god.
He did say he knew nothing about it.
Evidently.
Yeah.
God.
It employs 37,000 people nationwide who seed clouds by firing rockets and shells loaded with silver iodine
I was
into
just
them.
about to say,
Holy
it's
shit.
right before that silver iodide like just basically makes clouds rain. Like you shoot it in the atmosphere. Yeah.
I just find that insane.
I was going to be like they do a rain dance or something.
Yeah. Could you imagine seeing like a group of people just shooting rockets at clouds and just being like, yeah, good job?
What a job that would be, by the way. Sign me up.
There was a thing before that I've heard about, and it was like the US government at some point, I think it was during the Cold War, maybe just before, like did a test over like home soil where they basically set out, like they basically released chemicals into the atmosphere. And it's not like the chemtrails conspiracy. This did happen though, because what they were doing was investigating the spread of how like a biological weapon would spread amongst like a community. So they did it over like, a whatever sized area and then studied people because it was like a harmless chemical but they could detect it. So I think it might have been mildly radioactive or something, but they did that, and that is like a genuine thing because it was as however long goes by and then stuff gets declassified, then people found out and they were like, oh shit, this happened X number of years ago. So they do sometimes still, like the government drop shit over you, but you just don't find out about it.
Yeah, like when you hear these conspiracy theories, I often think that they're all mad, but then you actually like read up on the history of some things that governments have done to their own people.
It was like Project Paperclip in or something like that. I think it was called something like
It's
that.
a
as well.
Microsoft project.
Yes, like well, it's funny. It's like,
Become sentient, the Microsoft device paper and try to destroy all of
well,
Western
it's just like,
civilization.
hello, do you need help integrating Nazi scientists? That's literally what it was. The US, like the US took
I've heard that as well, yeah.
took Nazi scientists and were like, here, go and work for NASA. Go and be clever. Like, yeah.
That's why they won the space race.
Yeah.
Because of Nazi scientists. It's
Yeah.
crazy.
Hey, I mean, science is science.
All right, Rob. Jesus.
God, I think that's a perfect time to segue into our favorite
Hail
segment.
Hydra.
Hail Hydra.
Hail Hydra. That'll be the soundbite.
I'm gonna have to call the director.
That's okay. Trust me. Hail Hydra.
All right, ladies and gentlemen. It is the segment of the hour. It is Neil's segment. Cue the music.
Just mad booty. Do you know what was really sad about it? Seeing the video from behind, I looked like Danny DeVito getting out of a couch. Because like when I stood up on the sink, I hadn't thought that I would have to like lean over like this, and then my back and my butt were just a ball of goop. It was really not pretty. It was,
Danny DeVito coming up the couch and all it's sunny.
yeah. I just need to oil myself up a bit.
Such a horrible comparison for yourself. Why would you do that?
Oh, it really knocked my self-confidence.
Very accurate though.
It's really good to get videoed naked once in a while just to remind yourself to go to the gym.
You actually will tell the truth next time.
Yeah.
Like me.
Me, for myself.
For the next time I get videoed naked.
It's like eating, like
By
if you,
Family
ever,
Guys.
if you ever try eating while looking in a mirror topless, you just stop eating.
That's kind of
It's a
sad.
great
It's like
sign.
Rob giving diet advice.
How do you know that?
Oh, because I've done it before. Try hell back the tears.
This triggers the body dysmorphia.
But why?
God, you're so
Yeah,
fat
why
now,
were you
mate.
looking in the mirror while you're eating?
I don't think I hadn't like set up a 3-course meal in front of a mirror. I think I'm a fat man. I was eating, moving around the house. There was a mirror there.
I was topless.
Cried.
I was topless. I stopped.
I kept looking, I ate more.
This is why Lyle no longer has any mirrors in his head.
I removed them all.
Just oil paintings of himself.
Just in case, yeah.
Looking in
That's the
five
perfect man, yeah.
Mr. Olympia on the wall.
Neil's body, Lyle's face.
if I ever come like here ripped, you just know I've recently been to Camera Obscura.
God.
Right, okay.
Likewise if you're really fat.
I think I've got something we can kind of riff off. So,
Right, come on, big boy.
right, okay. Yeah, so, as always, I've come very prepared and have just decided to do this now. So, I was thinking recently, because I got like a memory on my phone that like however many years ago would have been 2015, I think, when I had like my kind of lads holiday to Malia, which was supposed to be like lots of us, and it ended up just being me and Liam. So, right, yeah,
Lads.
yeah.
No,
So-
lads.
Yeah, no, just lad. That's just lads, really. So yeah, we went that, and it was really, really weird. Because obviously there was just the two of us. But then we did make friends with some guys from like Portsmouth or something. But yeah,
Shout out Portsmouth.
yeah, shout out to Portsmouth. Yeah, sure, yeah, yeah. And
Other shit as well.
Other
They've just
cities,
got boats.
other cities are
they've just
available.
reached radio.
Stop ruining potential demographics.
But yeah, so I was thinking about that, and just basically the holiday was just fucking like I didn't have a great time on it. It wasn't my vibe. I just got sick of people coming up to me like on like the strip. They're just like, all right there, guys, come in here. Plenty of birds. We'll give you 2 shots and a fish bowl. €5. Come on, plenty of girls in here.
That was my job for 3 years.
So that kind of leads on to my next point was if you've been to Malia or Magaluf, these sort of things, you know, just give us a nice little anecdote from there. Tell us your thoughts on them. Because I actually had quite an uneventful time, but I did almost kill Liam at one point because
Wow.
he so I thought he was with the rest of the guys that we met, and he thought that I was with them. And he was just trying to find me or something, and he ended up falling asleep on someone's quad bike and having to walk home the next morning after some grumpy Greek man came and shook him and woke him up. So yeah, Liam almost died of sunstroke, which was cool. So yeah, if anybody's got any fun stories about that, or also something that you thought that you were going to go and really enjoy and turned out you hated it.
This weekend.
So I've got a similar story about Malia, but I think mine's a sadder because I also went with one friend.
Was it Tim?
Called Tim. Yeah.
Yeah.
This was actually 2 years ago to the weekend.
Oh wow. Okay. Yeah.
2 years ago.
Yeah. So you were supposed to be going with the lads. Tim was supposed to be going with his girlfriend at the time, and me and him ended up on a romantic holiday together, which involved us having a few drinks, going down to the beach. And
In Malia.
In Malia.
We were mad, yes.
Once, or just outside Malia, it was some cute town up at the top of the hill.
It was very romantic.
It was.
Yeah, I was going to
kinda
say,
cute.
who goes to Malia for like a romantic holiday?
Yeah, it's an unusual setting.
I mean, it wasn't
amazing.
actually Malia, it was
Crete.
Is a really nice island.
It was beautiful. Happy to have been there.
But it's just
I think you-
also
I think you got further
Malia
stories
land.
I just remember similarly you being very, very drunk on our way back to the hotel, which was up this massive hill, which was, steep, and Tim's just crawling
Hill's
over
steep.
to different bits of the road to be sicking. And at one point, he was so sick, I had to steal his phone, turn on his location services so that I could track him, and run back to the town to buy him water. And
He's just trapping your friend.
You stuck a tracker on him.
Animal.
I felt very unsafe leaving him because it was on a road that was driven on by quad bikes and
Loads
idiots.
of quad bikes, yeah.
Yeah.
Just on the way back, you just like see his signal going out into the
Oh no! his signal was literally stumbling from one side of the road to the other, just falling over in a different ditch. And then we got back that night, and then eventually got home, tucked you in.
I pulled that night, by the way, being in that state.
A highlight reel.
Impressive. Yeah, that is true actually. Yeah.
And I was so close to going home with her, then it just hit me.
Yeah, you were far too drunk. You were close to going home with her until you were outside on the strip, lying face down, shouting "Stand free" and "Fuck Motherwell."
And there goes all the Motherwell fans.
we were in the bar, and there was when we told the guy we were Scottish. He was from, I guess, near Malia, and he turns around to me and goes, "I'll guess what football team you support." Motherwell. Why is that your first guess? Motherwell shit as well.
I've got nothing against Motherwell.
Airdrie's not much better. But yeah.
Stand free.
Wherever you may be. I don't support Aberdeen as well, by the way.
Who do you support?
Cove Rangers.
Cult Rangers.
That's the Scottish team. Bolton Wanderers are the best team in the world.
It's not something we thought we'd talk about. It was Malia and
no.
Bolton in the same sentence. We've jokingly slagged off a lot of cities. Bolton shit.
I cannot agree more.
If you look at the statistics, they've been hit heavy with COVID, so that
Yeah.
just goes to show the standard you're living in.
Need some
Bolton.
more vests.
Yeah, I was gonna say, Rob, you should send some aid.
I
Digress
vests
branded
by
foil
Airdrop.
vest.
Just throwing boxes of foil vests at each household.
have contacts. I can help you out with that.
This is merchandise, £20 a pop.
The Democratic Republic of Bolton would be very happy.
I'll be forever known as Bolton's saviour.
You probably would.
Yeah.
A statue to you erected in Bolton Town Centre.
There'll be-
Holding vests.
There'll be Paddy McGuinness and there's Rob Stewart next to me.
Made of foil.
The Reebok,
The entire statue's like crumpled up, like reformed.
the Reebok Stadium renamed to the Robert Stadium.
Hey man, this is merch. I love
Great
it.
merch opportunity, man.
Anyone else?
I've been more frequented to Eastern Europe. It's just as dodgy, I think, as Malia, but I'd like to say a bit more culture to it. Budapest and Bratislava, but they're just as bad, I think. Went to a club underneath Bratislava's castle, and it was like massive called Sub Club, where you go like in a tunnel, graffiti all over the wall, like just shit ourselves the whole time. There's these massive Eastern European lads standing outside, walking in, being like €5, please. I don't even think they work there. And we're just giving them €5 going in. Do you want 10? So you can take 10 if you want.
You got change?
It sounds kind of like Berghain that's in Berlin. No, it's in Berlin. It's like this super exclusive.
Oh,
It's
yeah.
like
Oh,
world
Berlin,
famous. It's
yeah.
like a world famous club. And apparently, like, you can queue for hours. You have to dress like a certain way as well, like some sort of
Super edgy.
weird edgy vibe. And like, you can get to the front of the queue. And apparently, there's this like also like famous bouncer who's like famous in like club scenes and rave scenes, whatever else, and things that we're not cool enough to be part of. And apparently, he just gets to the front and he just decides whether he likes the look of you or not.
Yeah.
Like, literally, you get to front and he can be like, no.
It's
That's-
open
that's you done.
24/7,
Yeah.
365. It just doesn't shut at
Yeah.
all.
That's madness.
There's one of them in Melbourne as well. I can't remember what it's called.
Is it?
It's one like that, but it's like they found. I think it's called Revolver in Melbourne. They found a body on the couch.
Just
Wow.
I just left it for 2 days. Apparently.
Jesus.
No one noticed this person was gone for 2 days, and then there's a missing search party, and then
They just found them.
they found them, and the place got
Party
closed for a
hard.
day,
Wow.
and then it reopened.
Yeah.
Like
Wow.
nothing had happened.
I got advice for whenever going to Germany, like club wise. One guy works in a pub with. He said one bit of advice he gave me was don't go into the dark room. So like in clubs like that, because I don't know. He said just don't go into the dark rooms. That's
To be
all he left
yeah.
at.
To be fair, if your clubs are open 24/7, there is no end of the night for the bouncer to shake that guy and say it's time to leave. Just lying there for 2 days.
Jesus.
I would also like to point out earlier you said like Eastern European because it's more cultured than Malaya because Greece has famously never contributed anything to society or culture.
Well, that's what that's
That's
what the conspiracy theorists say. That, you know,
That was the aliens who landed in Greece.
was it not?
And they were white dudes. It's fine.
It was like Cammy went to Sunny Beach or something with his friends. One of them got kidnapped by
Oh,
like
I
the
heard this,
mafia.
Yeah.
In like
Yes.
Bulgaria, yeah, like so. One of his friends basically got kidnapped by the mafia. Apparently, they really niced him, but they were like, "Yeah, if your friends don't come and give us like 2,000 euros or 3,000 euros, we're gonna kill you." But apparently, his friends did bring them that, and the mafia didn't murder him. But they were lovely. But we're just like, "Yeah, we will kill you." If they don't do
Super
this."
pleasant.
That's just wrong place at the wrong time.
Yeah, pretty much. Yeah.
Wasn't
They
even
just got grabbed
targeted.
off the street.
That's absolutely ridiculous.
Didn't
Yeah.
that happen to a guy from Porto?
No, so this was a bit different. There was a massive. He was in Thailand. It was like Phuket or something like that. And he went out. They went on a night out, and they were going to go for a taxi going home. And then they like, got the taxi, went home, and then took away. Like they were just leaving the taxi, and then he was so drunk he couldn't get out of the taxi, and so the taxi driver just drove away without him. But they drove
with him.
With him. So like his friends were like, oh, this,
Wait, he was too drunk to get out the taxi.
yeah. So the taxi driver just drove away and just dumped him in the middle of Thailand, somewhere on this
Jesus.
island, for 2 hours. But then they got like their mates went to the police and that sort of thing, and it was all over social media like they've been lost. And then 19 hours later, he turns up. He'd walked from where he got dropped off back to the hotel, saying, "All right, boys, how was last night?" Nothing, like nothing happened. And they're like, "We've put a wanted search on BBC News, everything. It was massive." And he's like, "What's up?" Like, he's like, "We thought you were dead. You've been gone for 19 hours." I was like, "Oh no, I just got dumped in the middle of nowhere from a taxi driver and then just walked back." They're like, "What?" And he just had no
What a
clue.
legend.
His parents were on BBC News.
Yeah,
but I
like,
thought when
Just
you're saying
like
this
2
earlier-
days missing. He's just no memory.
I thought he figured out later on that in reality, like the taxi driver just dropped him round the corner, and he just spent 2 days like
No, he
walking
just-
about.
It wasn't too, it was like 19 hours. It was something random.
When you said that as well,
Because I shared the post and found out he was on Instagram. I was like, "Oh, just any news gives a shout." And then I found out, I was like, "Delete."
You're like, oh, this is going to be hard to explain.
Yeah, 'cause even my cousin who lived in London had no clue. She'd shared it. I was like, "Oh my god, I didn't know it." Because I texted Lyle about it. Lyle was like, "Oh yeah, I heard that."
Yeah.
And then found out a few hours later he was just smashed and just walked around Phuket for a while.
I also just like the idea that the taxi driver could have just taken him about, but while picking up other rides. Ignore him, he's fine.
He'll be
If you
alright.
want, just put him in the boot if you want.
It's pretty much the plot of The Hangover 2, 3.
Yeah.
I know a guy that got kidnapped
3.
in Brazil as well. I think it was in Brasilia. It was like he just basically was like just absolutely steaming. Got basically chucked into the back of a van. They just started laying into him, but apparently because he was just like so drunk, and I think he may have been coked up as well. I don't know. Was that he just started like just literally flailing, drunk rage, coked up rage, just like fighting back, biting, spitting, everything. I was like going mental, but eventually they were just like, we need someone a bit more docile.
Yeah.
And just like they drove by, literally were like, fuck this guy, kicked him back out of the thing. So he fought off these like 4 attackers just violently enough, and they kicked him out again. And I think he said, I'm trying to remember the story, but I think he went to the police and they were just like, yeah, that happens, man. Sorry about that. or it was a taxi. No, it was a taxi driver. I think. I think the police didn't really care that much. They were like, well, it happens. But some taxi driver was just like, look, sorry for my country. Like, I'm sorry that happened to you, and gave him like a free lift home. But like, yeah, he just basically had to just fight off these guys who were just gonna like, blackmail him basically. Or
Moral of the
whatever.
story: crack is more reliable than the police. When in Brazil, make sure you got your stash ready.
I had a mate of mine from uni who was travelling around South America earlier this year, I think in April, and he was going to sort of Peru and Chile, and he was backpacking and doing a lot of wild camping. But there was a few times where he was going into the bigger cities and staying at an Airbnb, and it was when I think there were some riots in Peru due to some political unrest.
Yeah.
And like, yeah,
Doesn't sound like South America.
That's my favourite kind of unrest.
Peace and prosperity.
but I think he'd like ended up like having to walk through barriers to be able to get to his hotel room, and like just crowds and crowds of people. Like the taxi driver that was taking him from like this airport at the city centre said, "I have to stop you. You have to let you go here." And he's looking at his like GPS. It's like 3.5 miles to the hotel. There's barriers and flares going off. And then eventually, like, they stayed at the hotel for one night, and even I think the hotel the next day were like, "Nah, you just can't be in this city, and you should probably go for your own safety." But what I said was funny, he didn't talk about that at all because he didn't want his parents worrying about him by posting that sort of stuff on social media.
Yeah.
So all I saw from this trip was like the wild nature he saw the rest of the time. I think he had this peaceful time, and then I met him in the pub for a few drinks, and he just started telling me all this wild stuff from that visit.
Christ.
Our RE teacher did something similar to that because he was on a stag do. His mates kidnapped him, but what they said to him, like, just go walk down this street at 10 o'clock at night and we'll pick you up in the corner. So they did that, and then he was walking on the street and stood at this corner waiting for his mates. They'd hired 2 people to kidnap him, so they came behind him, blindfolded, put a bag over his head, kicked the shit out of him, and then put him in the back of a white van. And he was like fearing for his life, like, "Oh my god, I'm gonna get killed, get murdered, maybe I'm a stag do, this, that, and the other." And then they dropped him off at this place. They like hung him, like took his arm, put him out like a Jesus, hung out to dry. And then they took the blindfold. His mates went, "All right, lads, how you doing?" Like just been battered for no, like his mates paid to batter him and kidnap him, pinned him
Oh
out
my
like Jesus,
God.
and then for his stag they went, and then they took the blindfold off, and he was like,
Surprise!
"Surprise, how you doing?" He's like, "So I just got battered and kidnapped for no reason." They're like, "Yep."
For fun.
That was
Yeah.
the best $100 we spent.
Yeah, the fucking emotional trauma.
Yeah,
Like,
and then his dad, it was his dad's idea apparently as well.
God, Jesus.
Oh my
His
god.
dad, like in the special forces, was like, "Ah, be grand."
His dad's Darren Brown. Not remember that episode, like that show that he done where he had.
Convinces people to kick the shit out of each other.
Darren Brown legit had a
to kill someone.
he had a TV special where they had like an audience all nominate.
I've talked about this on the show.
Oh,
On this.
right, okay.
Yeah. No,
they
keep going.
Yeah, but they voted like on a little touchpad for what they were going to happen to this guy, and they basically
Yeah.
just always picked the worst situation. It's like he can either go home to like a new £5,000 flat screen TV, or we can kidnap him and beat the fuck out of him. And the general public just like, "Yeah, beat the fuck, beat the fuck."
I didn't know, and it was no, but the whole show was like it then got flipped, and it was actually like they claimed the study was on the guy, but it was actually about mob mentality.
Yeah.
And it was actually about like because everybody in the crowd was like supposed to be like as a novelty was given a mask, and then so that just added to their anonymity because as soon as you lose your identity on the like for yourself, and then you're part of a group, you then like just you then just basically become a bastard. That's what it became.
But imagine paying for a ticket to that event as well, and you go, and in the end of it, it's just like, "Oh, by the way, you're all cunts."
You're terrible. I'd probably get on there and be like, "Mate, I would have done it on the stage in front of everyone and still hit that button."
I've gone down and landed the first punch.
Those are the sort of people I trust. They're consistent.
I'm gonna have to call the director.
That's okay. Trust me. Hail Hydra.
Right. Well, we're going to be doing the posh segment for the day, boys. We're going to put on our poshest personas, and we're going to talk like the upper class.
Talk like gentlemen.
Gentlemen. Well, so I did really enjoy the little spot of clay pigeon shooting we were doing the other day.
Oh, spiffing.
Good word, spiffing.
This is my jam.
You sound like a chimney sweep.
I was just about to say that.
Neil, get off of that talk tick this instant.
I do hate the old top tick and all these teenagers. They're obsessed with these immature dance moves.
Dance moves.
Wow.
What does WAP mean, Michael?
Wet ass pussy.
Michael, your conversation
Bring a
is
bucket and a
great, as always.
Neil, you're awfully quiet. Why is
I'm
that?
having a spot of trouble. Okay, sorry.
A spot of trouble.
I thought you were going to say you were having a spot of tea.
I'm just having a spot of bother.
I thought WAP meant water and prayer. How to live a healthy life.
Water and prayer's the only way I live.
So,
So
wet
anyway,
ass
Bob, I
Paddy.
just thought, where do you see this going? Because currently we're just all doing accents.
Well, I have no idea where this might be going, my dear old boy, but I do think that we can maybe improvise
I think
something.
the idea is to digress, exactly.
Yes.
I improvise.
I improvise, I digress.
I don't know where we're going, but I do remember where I went on my gap year.
Gap year. And
it the
yeah, I
Lake
think
District?
I went to Burma. Were you in Burma?
I
on
went
your
to
gap year?
Venezuela, learned how to play the vuvuzela.
Ooh.
Vuvuzela is actually from South Africa, thank you very much.
Yes, but you can get them all over the world. The economy is great at the moment.
That sounds very exotic.
Oh, naughty.
I just like to point out I really enjoy how Rob's accent just disappears mid-sentence. Literally in every one he says.
He's just very posh anyway.
I am
Neil.
supposed to say
of
posh.
That's why we call him Posh Rob.
Posh Rob is the street name, if you will.
Because we have another friend who's just Scum Rob.
My street name is Bramble Crescent. Very nice name for a street.
It's a very nice name for a street.
That's also not your street name. You just made that up.
Let's not give out my address on this podcast. But I would say that I have
18
I did maybe mash 2 street names together that I know of well.
Bramble is his other residence.
My second residence.
That is his
butler.
holiday residence.
He is not Batman. He is
Her
a bad
name was
man.
not Alfred. Can't remember her name. I never spoke to the help.
I think what we're learning is we'd be terrible at Downton Abbey.
I think we'd be amazing.
Speak for yourself.
I think we're just terrible people.
Paddy, I think you would be good as the help, but you could never play the aristocracy.
Well,
How dare you, sir?
how very droll. Was I going to play the race car?
Well, ethnic in the 18th century.
Look.
I would clearly be a cameo.
Just because he is of New Elf doesn't mean we can't accept him in our circle.
I think going back, to that sort of time, we would refer to him as Oriental.
Could
would
we
bring the
please
fireworks.
not have you saying the word ethnic on this podcast?
It's really, I think we'd be amazing in the upper class life, really.
I love how much Rob's accent has changed. It started really posh, it's going to go deeper, but then it's going to go up again.
He just knows so many posh people to base his off of.
I just have multiple personality disorder, like most posh people.
Thank you, Robert.
Sorted by
Supervillain
cats.
and philanthropist. I like to knock down schools and then rebuild them.
Of course, it'd be private
Sexual
schools.
pleasure.
Wow.
Wow!
The real fast turn, man.
Wow! Now we're getting too posh.
Erecting things makes you
We come
sexually
back to
pleased.
QAnon.
Erecting buildings makes me
Erect.
happy.
I did see a sign on.
Platonically happy.
I saw a sign on scaffolding in Hull that said whatever the company's name was.
What? Sorry.
I'm
I
speaking.
appreciate if you could just go
should
back
get out of
downstairs.
this, son.
Back downstairs to where you belong.
But I'm talking about Hull. So
This
there's no
club
posh
is for
They're building
gentlemen
things
only.
in Hull.
Gentleman's club, you might say.
It is a gentleman's club.
I feel like we're missing something.
in here.
Who lets the help in?
Go pick potatoes.
I don't
Oh.
speak potato.
I don't speak potato either, Michael.
I do speak potato dauphinois. I can't say anything. What is that?
Dauphinois.
Dauphinois.
Dauphinois. I apologise.
Neil James over there did a couple of years in France, so I do think he is an expert, if you will.
A couple of weeks, I think.
A couple of French women, I think.
Mademoiselles.
A bonjour.
Oh. Well done, boys, well done.
We will soon lose French listeners as well.
Please don't say anything about the Lithuanians.
I have been to Calais and it's shit.
Nearly as bad as Portsmouth.
I actually went from Portsmouth to Calais.
Shit on both sides.
Is this just like come on the pod and try and wipe out any demographic that might listen to this pod?
No, the rest of France was lovely. Lyon is great. Much better than Paris.
Yeah, actually, to be fair, my brother went to Paris and got mugged, so he doesn't rate it either.
Bordeaux is beautiful. It won like
tourist destination place in Europe a few years ago. It was, standard European tour. You go on a tour and they tell you this was built by slave money. This was built by slave money.
And then the English came.
Yeah.
I mean, we have lost
And that's
our
when our history
accents.
started.
Yeah, we did.
Real history started.
This is where we swiftly moved on to the help segment. Gentlemen's Club was next door, and we decided to escape from those brotherlyhood nonsense.
Kills it.
I'm just like, I am God. Who said it?
I'm assuming he's saying that because we've all gone back.
His
to
word
Norway.
is law. Yeah, it's literally that's the way it works.
I mean, it is his podcast, so
Rules with an
There's at
iron
least
fist.
twice a show. Rob will say that. I'm like, what?
He's not going to edit himself to look like a dick, is he?
Well, obviously not. I think there's bits where I forget a word and then Neil say it, and then I remove what Neil says and then say the words.
After you record this, do you just sit in your own room recording you saying other people's jokes?
Just like weird cut and me being like, knock, knock.
You're there like, I was once on holiday with Tim and Malia.
we met this weekend.
You'd pick a good story.
Just picking apart my entire operation, guys, please.
It's like, so I once kidnapped this guy in Bulgaria.
Why Bulgaria?
Because that's where Sunny Beach is.
Oh, is it?
Yeah.
And the story we told earlier on.
Oh man, I'm not gonna lie, I've been drifting in that.
That's the beauty of the I Digress podcast. You never know where you might jump into when you
So
drift.
many countries have just been thrown around.
The beauty of it is that the contributors aren't paying attention.
Yeah.
I'll listen to it in the edited cut. That's what
It's
I'm paying
better
for,
that
really.
way.
So they're like, man, that Paddy guy's funny. Like, he is good.
That's some content I'd pay for right there.
More of him, please, as your one Patreon.
No, there's more than one Patreon. There's multiple.
Potentially.
Patreon is where you can go help Rob keep on continuing making this podcast. He deserves it.
Thank you, Lyle. And that is the sponsor segment for the year.
And Lyle, if I wanted to do this, how could I?
You would just log on to www.patreon.com/
Can't even lift.
can't even lift and just chuck in your PayPal or direct debit details.
That's after you've enjoyed listening to this on Apple Podcasts.
And rated it 5 stars.
And Google Podcasts.
Or Spotify.
Or some other thing Rob said earlier, I can't remember what it was called.
Anchor.
A £20 note right now.
This is great
Because
marketing.
we the help?
We're the help. How have you not slipped in? And on that note, I think it's a great time to move on.
I'm gonna have to call the director.
That's okay. Trust me. Hail Hydra.
Right, next one's the D&D special.
This will be fun.
Yeah.
Such a weird.
I have no idea what this is.
I've never played Dungeons and Dragons.
Normally
So
Rob comes
you're
up with
the great
topics. I'm so this is odd.
And I'm going to just tie up the help in my dungeon.
A couple episodes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You did it. You were like a wizard.
You were the wizard, Eli.
Booker.
Oh, I thought that was
Space
the piss
Wizard.
take section. Okay.
I thought that was the we'll never do this again section.
Yeah. I didn't know that was going to be a recurring thing. Gotcha.
No, not entirely recurring, but anyway.
You're a wizard, Harry.
You're a wizard, Harry.
Right, boys. If you're familiar with Dungeons and Dragons, you know that such races exist, like elves, ogres, dwarves, humans.
Isn't that Shrek?
You can be Shrek. You can be Shrek if you want. Shrek is love.
Somebody
Still, Shrek is life.
Careful, don't sing that song. Neil might come.
I forgot. It's a callback joke.
Are you
Anyway.
attracted to donkeys?
Come
or
with
dragons?
all seconds.
Yeah.
Or you scream Waluigi.
Waluigi number 1!
Paddy, what race of being would you like to
I
be?
think it would be fitting if I was anything other than an ogre. So I guess I'm an ogre.
Right,
today,
and what would your-
every day.
What would your ogre be called?
Steve.
Steve the ogre.
Steve the ogre, man, having a great time.
And Creamy.
I have no idea how this works.
What? Just choose a race.
A race of people. Why don't you pick something really rich like an elf
I think you would be an elf, to be
Legolas.
honest. Yeah.
or a dwarf?
What would your name though be?
Tall.
Yeah,
Elf.
can't- Just Elf the Elf.
Elf.
Yeah,
the
that
elf.
works.
No, Buddy.
That's
Buddy the elf.
That's what I was thinking. People
Buddy
from
the Elf. Lyle, what race would you like to be?
What are the options?
Canadian.
You've got, Dungeons
I would be a raptor. I would be a dinosaur.
You would be a raptor in this fantasy novel that we're trying to sort of emulate. What would your raptor be called?
Kawaii.
No, it would not. It'd be called Frederico.
Frederico.
Felito.
Imagine having that as your middle name.
Frederico the raptor. Tim, what would you like to be?
A giraffe.
Giraffe. Okay. It's
Okay.
not.
I didn't know these were the options.
It's not a fantasy animal, but we'll roll with it. You know.
I just want to be tall.
I was going to say, he did get rejected from Man City for not being tall enough.
What would your giraffe be called?
Gerald.
Gerald's the giraffe.
That's the name of my teddy bear.
Gerald the giraffe.
Neil, are you going to
Tim.
be Eli the wizard?
Eli Booker. No, not this time, Rob.
Devin Booker.
What would you like
I'm
to
going
be?
to change. This time I would like to be...
Kendall Jenner.
Tonight, Matthew. I'm
Yeah,
going to be-
I want to be Kendall Jenner.
Again,
So that's
not
a species, but what's your name?
Steve.
Steve.
Nice. Good name, strong name.
So what?
Two
Steve?
Steves.
Steve's the
Steve
Kendall
Ogre,
Jenner.
Steve the Kendall Jenner.
Again, not a fantasy animal, but we'll roll with it.
I mean, don't anyone does know what we're doing here.
Yeah.
No, this is where the Dungeon Master takes control.
I've played Dungeons and Dragons before.
It's great. This is where the fantasy music kicks in and we
My
create some
concern is
atmosphere.
Rob has not, though.
This is Rob's edition of Dungeons and Dragons. So, we have
Giraffes and Kendall Jenner.
we have the quest, and the band of this quest is formed by Steve the Ogre, his brother, Steve the Kendall Jenner.
We're brothers who are different.
It's kind of like twins, you know, where it's Arnie and fucking what's his name? Danny DeVito. Yeah, it's kind of like that.
And Gerald the Giraffe, Frederico the Raptor, accompanied Buddy the Elf. You are now on a quest, gentlemen, to recover the secret treasure of
We're on a
Alderaan. You're on a quest
Quest.
to recover the secret treasure of the Alderaan.
The Alderaan.
The Alderaan.
Like the planet in Star Wars.
Didn't that system?
That's a planet.
Didn't that planet get blown up?
Yeah.
Don't worry,
Where to
you're
get all the pieces.
walking through the pieces of
back
space
together,
to try and collect the pieces of Alderaan to build the planet again.
It was quite a big planet.
Look,
We could be there. a
How are
while.
we breathing if we're in space?
You're an elf. You've got magic. You're breathing in
Wait a
space.
second.
I'm
And
Kendall
he's,
Jenner.
and he's a Kendall
No,
Jenner.
you're a Kendall Jenner. You're obviously immune to space.
You're right.
I'm a giraffe. I'm too tall.
He's a space giraffe.
There's always there where giraffes are. And
His feet are on the ground.
And
head
raptors
in the
came
sky.
from space, so they're fine.
fascinating.
And ogre as
Oh,
well.
I mean, who cares if I die anyway? I'm the expendable character.
He's got so much mass he can't die. He's basically a planet
The planet's
himself.
forming around me, I think.
He's-
You're actually going to use
He's eating.
Steve the Ogre to collect the pieces of Alderaan.
He's eating the pieces we're trying to collect.
E equals MC squared. He's so massive he can never run out of energy.
It's really quickly moving.
Okay.
Science jokes.
On this space journey, you come across a traveler.
Like
I'm sorry, what's
like,
do I come across a traveller? There's a
Like-
Frenchman.
like a knacker. Like a person who lives in a caravan.
Yes, you come across a gypsy caravan traveler in
It's your
space.
phraseology.
I know what this is.
You encounter a traveller instead of coming across him, which could otherwise be misinterpreted.
I offer him a Pepsi.
You encounter a traveler in space.
I offer him a Pepsi.
Okay, so Steve the Kendall Jenner offers him a Pepsi.
Do I have to roll?
He rolls a 5,
What?
Fantastic.
That's not how it works. You don't get to choose what I roll.
and it was unsuccessful. He
I didn't even roll.
angrily refuses your Pepsi, throws it in your face.
It's the guy.
Yes.
Oh.
Now you're
I offer
angry.
him a Pepsi.
The Pepsi has been thrown.
Picks up the same
one.
And
Steve the Ogre picks up the deformed Pepsi and throws it at the traveler.
I offer it.
He offers it to the traveler. The traveler then,
Do I roll now?
you have rolled a 7.
You know why do you get to decide what he rolls? What's the point in him rolling?
That has also been successful.
Okay, so Buddy the Elf, after encountering the traveller, comes across the traveller.
Buddy the Elf has now comes across the traveler. The traveler is appeased by this gesture and offers Buddy the Elf some treasure coin.
That's how I
Is that
roll.
what they're calling it these days?
So wait a second. You have so far, no one has said a word to this man. He's gonna offer
Well, I
a
did. I offered him a Pepsi.
Oh, yeah,
Would you like a Pepsi?
And then Creamy just came on him.
I feel like he was thirsty for something else.
You're an elf prostitute now.
Buddy, the elf. Frederico the raptor has a weird look at the traveler. The traveler notices the raptor is wearing a purple jumper.
Well,
He says he will offer you 10 coins for your jumper. What would you do?
Say no.
He says no. He rolls a 6. This was unsuccessful. The traveler takes your jumper and now runs away.
Rob, so you've never played Dungeons and Dragons before?
Yeah, I feel like the whole idea of you even mentioning the phrase "he rolls whatever" is null
Is
and
it
void.
just completely irrelevant?
It's an audio
What does he have to roll to keep his jumper?
Were you getting 9?
You don't establish
At least a 12.
Yeah, yeah.
Were
What
you
you need to do, it needs to be like you need to basically roll above a certain number for an action to happen. Also, there need to be actions that we know that we can do.
Were you going to insert like a rolling of the dice noise to make it actually sound like there's actually dice here?
Yeah, he needs to roll at least a 12 for an action.
Yeah, but he's
to
not
be
rolled
successful.
anything.
He has rolled a 6.
He's going to cut this out so it all makes it sound like
I know he is.
it works well.
I rolled a 6.
Yeah. It
Neil's
was
having a
unsuccessful.
meltdown at
You're
the
now
rules.
jumperless. Your entire being is now in jeopardy because you're in space and that jumper was the entire thing.
Without
keeping you
rules,
alive.
we all descend into anarchy.
What will you do to keep Frederico, this raptor, alive?
I say
Nothing.
we eat him.
Nothing.
Nothing.
I take off my spacesuit.
I join him in the grips of death.
Steve, the Kendall Jenner, takes off the spacesuit, rolls a 3. This was unsuccessful.
You can't even die. You get me in this.
I'm literally in limbo.
So you just floating around.
I'm literally. You know what? This is my nightmare realized. I'm in a narrative limbo decided by Rob.
Steve the Ogre rolls a 14.
What am I trying to do though?
How many numbers are on the dice?
He has successfully...
Oh come on! It's a D20. You don't play without a D20. Come
Obviously,
on.
it's a D20. He has successfully eaten Frederico the raptor.
Wait, what?
I don't. You know what? I'm fine with this.
I'm so lost.
I'm fine with this. Nah, I'm sorry, Lyle.
Rob just has.
Who's-
Rob
who's-
is just trying to get through a story. We
Oh,
don't
I'm
have any
sorry.
input.
I'm sorry, Federico.
We're not helping him, are we?
No.
Raptor.
It's okay.
Due
Happy to
to,
be part of your overwhelming mass.
due to Steve the Ogre now becoming planetary size, he is now the new Alderaan.
Fantastic, and I'm assuming that's the end of the narrative. Is that our story? Is that our story finished? Great, so the story was literally, we do nothing, a traveller steals Lyle's jumper, then I eat him. That's actually... Oh, sorry, Creamy came all over it.
This has been
Neil tried to kill himself and failed.
the last hour has been my least favorite section of this podcast.
Like, this is...
This has been the finest quest of the band of buddies
I don't know what choices we made at any stage.
of the D20 choice, where you had to roll at least a 12 to be
Rob,
successful.
I'm taking us to the next section now.
Where did Gerald come into this, by the way? I didn't get mentioned
This
once.
is nothing.
He's a giraffe.
He's a giraffe in space.
He's a raptor, an elf,
I've got a
I'm an
long neck.
ogre.
Kendall Jenner.
He's a Kendall Jenner.
Kendall.
It is
What
true.
a
It is true what they say. Never meet your heroes. I don't know what's going on with this podcast.
Yeah, Neil, what have you done?
Welcome to the
You're
chaos.
right. This is all my
Neil
fault.
suggested this segment again.
I know. What a
Every
weird
week
man.
I've been craving it, you know. I'm like,
Keep
Rob, you
pushing
know
this.
what? You know what people really want to hear? Your shit stories.
That's the entire podcast.
You know, yeah,
And we love it.
yeah.
It's a Reddit subthread, isn't it? Elf ejaculated later.
Yeah, somebody's asking just specifically for elf traveler bards.
You say that, but there's also like a lot of Legolas and Aragorn porn.
You've read that to me before.
Yeah, there's a lot of fantasies.
Oh, you think we'll put that on the podcast?
Paddy's watched it.
No.
I've lived it. It was really.
I am it.
Summer one year.
There was a lot of sexual tension. That'll be removed.
Now he's made us laugh.
What a
It all
dictatorship.
means nothing.
A dictatorship.
All this means nothing.
Yeah, he's also now got his laugh that you put in earlier on in the episode.
Ridiculous. Tension is.
All this you're doing? Void.
Fuck you, man.
It's like Jonathan Wass.
Just gone.
Just got like that. In the
He's like,
ether.
what's
I
his
am
name?
Thanos. It's a
Somewhere.
fugazi.
Thanos
It's
is just there like,
non-existent.
gone.
But great laugh padding for all those lines I delivered for the D&D special. Thanks, guys.
That laugh is sort of your whole
Like, we
podcast.
loved it.
That was great.
That
Right.
D&D bit was really good. I'm glad we did it.
That should be a Patreon exclusive.
Yeah. Just to
I think you
save
might
the
be
people that
right.
don't subscribe from hearing it.
Yeah. That is the thing about these
Tim
things.
didn't even get mentioned. He's right.
That is the thing about things like Patreon, though. The exclusive content isn't the best stuff because you want to share that with the masses.
Yeah.
Unless you're Rob, in which case it's well worth the money.
No, the Patreon should be for the best people.
I
And-
I don't know what I said there.
Just
Patreon
a little-
would be, but an OnlyFans is where it's at, I feel.
The
Yeah.
exclusive is the OnlyFans is coming soon. Wait for it.
You keep saying this, but we're waiting.
Apple Music.
You're just gonna plug other platforms every so often.
Now
You
TV.
have shares in Apple.
Okay.
TV.
I think, Neil, do you want to lead us on to the next segment?
Yeah.
He's forgot it.
I'm gonna have to call the director.
That's okay. Trust me. Hail Hydra.
Is this the continuation of the D&D plot?
No, what it is that Rob has narcissistically, as always, and you know what? Normally it's just once a year that Rob does this, but he's decided that he's going to bring in the kind of Rob roast segment again.
I can't wait.
Podcast edition.
Normally it does happen on his birthday because, again, he is a narcissist. But he just wants us all to roast him on this, and I mean, I don't think we really need to. I mean, as long as he keeps in that last fucking
Twention.
D&D section and thinks people are going to actually want to listen to that, then that's kind of a roast in itself.
Who really has to have like 5 roasts?
Paddy.
If I'm hungry.
Is this diverting into the Paddy roast?
This is why I made sure Paddy sat next to me to take away the heat.
Well,
Take away the heat.
well, you know, you know what?
If you
You're
didn't
right.
want the heat, you didn't have to ask for this section.
I mean,
It's your
none of us got to
podcast.
be best man speeches or anything, so I thought we'd have it in here.
Oh my god.
That was...
This is what I love about
I
that.
hope Rob keeps in my horrible stutter giggle from like 2 seconds ago there. That was me trying to speak as well. For everyone that's like, oh,
Yeah,
you're
you're trying
trying
to
to stutter, that was me
No.
just trying to speak, and I gave up because you're all horrible.
For anyone who wants to know why I stutter every now and then, it's because I
Are you trying to be me?
basically hang out with Neil all the time.
Anyway, so this Rob roast section's going swimmingly.
Yeah, so far it's been just me and you.
It's basically been a Neil and Paddy roast so far. Twention.
Yeah, there is twension.
Twention.
I don't know what you're talking about.
None of this is making the podcast any mention of twention.
Yeah, it's,
Twention.
it's a really bizarre word to bring up out of the blue.
Twention.
Rob, none of us even care enough to roast you at this point. That's how bad it is.
I feel like it will give you satisfaction. I just really don't want to do that.
I put in so much effort last time. It's not
Yeah, can you not just read the script you had last time? That's what I want to have.
But most of those jokes were just jokes about Neil's teeth.
Yeah, that's true.
like by the end.
It's an audio show, it's fine, go ahead.
I know, we'll take
They don't look
pictures
that
after.
big compared to your massive muscles.
Thanks, Craig.
There are some like sort of inside jokes that would need context. So I don't think there's any need for
Oh,
to
no, this
mention
is
that
like-
I have help or anything like that.
A niche podcast
You still
anyway,
have a
so.
script.
Yeah.
I think I do.
He said it to me on
Put things in my
Facebook
notes.
Messenger because
And his mum was there.
sick.
Good one.
I think you sent it to me on Facebook Messenger, and because we're not real friends, we've not said anything since then.
Nice.
No, that was a joke, but no, man. I hate me too.
But you're his longest serving friend in the room.
You are
Surfing.
meant to serving. You keep serving.
Longest
food.
serving
yeah. it
friend
sounds like
in the
a-
room.
In for a prison sentence.
To be honest, it's just because
friends
Paddy
allowed
is
the
so
sentence.
large, he needs a serving friend just to get there.
You know what? I'm gonna say all of them, but the biggest roast is so many of them still apply.
Wow. Okay, hit me.
Silence from the room. Well, I intro by just calling myself fat and ethnically ambiguous.
Known.
I mean, I think most people who listen to this podcast have already heard them.
I think everyone's got a good idea of your shape just from the voice
Just
echoing around your body.
the wavelength changes depending on where you're standing. You hear a real different tone.
Rob
I don't
Rob
wanna
just wishes he was
fucking
as big as you.
I can make jokes about your wedding again if you want.
So, I'm here to ease the roasting to talk about someone I really admire, Rob Stewart. I defy anyone to show me a more successful, happy, well-adjusted individual. Unfortunately, this is his disappointed piece of shit, Rob Stewart Jr.
Forgot
Wow.
about that.
Success comes easy to Rob. When he graduated, dozens of ice cream companies were waiting to add him to the roster. And Lucas were lucky to get him. And then If you're looking for a career change, my middle class friend Lyle is looking for some more servants. The pay isn't good, the job isn't satisfying, but at least you only have to deal with one privileged dickhead.
That needs updated, by the way.
Yeah.
You like the next one? I would describe Rob as my friend who's least afraid of death.
God.
Upside is that at least with death it would solve a lot of your problems. Plus you might get reincarnated as an octopus or whatever tentacle monster you see in your anime porn.
You know about that kind of shit.
I'm all about that, man. Most people don't know this, but Rob plays basketball. And that's just that joke.
It's just like pause for laughter after it.
Insert laughter reel there.
Saying that, I admire the hell out of your look today. Is your life falling apart? Yes, but you still choose to look stupid.
You literally didn't know what he was going to wear as
I
well.
had no idea what he was going to wear. I was just going to throw that in. And then at the end of the day, it could be worse. You could have the same teeth as Neil.
I thought I was going to say...
Seabiscuit.
I thought I was going to say, it could be worse. You could be me.
Self-roast.
Definitely. To be honest, I think that's a pretty good place to close up on.
I was also going to suggest that we do that.
I'm gonna have to call the director.
That's okay. Trust me. Hail Hydra.
Well, guys, that was one hell of some episode, and I hope you enjoyed our little holiday special. We definitely took precautions in being sensible with how we spaced and didn't lick each other's necks or get naked in this cabin.
I really
once.
think this is going to be like the Star Wars holiday special for me. Like, I'm just going to
100%,
deny
I was
this one
gonna say
exists.
that.
Like, I'm going to deny this exists.
Yeah, we're probably going to deny this exists, but it'll forever be immortalized on Spotify, Apple Podcast, Google Podcast, and Anchor. the premature clap.
That was just a great segue.
He just loves
see why he
capitalism,
makes
that's why.
God, I love capitalism.
We love capitalism on this show. Paddy, what's your ending thought?
I really enjoyed it. I mean, I always enjoy hearing this podcast and being on them. It's good chat and good shit. But yes, this holiday special deserves to get lost in the archives. A lot of it was absolute garbage. Thanks.
Cream shake?
Yeah, this is my favourite bit. I just feel like I'm in the room when I'm listening. Yeah, this has been good.
The end. That's your favourite part.
Yeah.
That's when he finally feels like he's there.
Yeah.
The rest of it just
And now he is here. This could be you.
No, not me. You can never be me.
Please.
You can't look like this. But yeah, no, I'm looking forward to when this comes back to haunt me later on in my career. Really good,
You're
but
extremely successful.
yeah, even when I have this thrown back in my face, yeah, and I feel like I've staged Stuart Morgan, which I'm glad about. Next,
Mr. Honeyman?
Yeah, it's been fun. I would just like to say that conspiracy theories are awful. Don't think for yourself because you, like everyone else, is stupid.
Join the sheeple. Moo, moo.
Wow. Timothy?
I don't know how to follow that last bit, but yeah, it's been very fun. I had a couple of good facts and I very much enjoyed it. Disappointed Gerald never got mentioned, but apart from that, I'm all good.
that's in reference to a bit that will probably get cut out.
Yeah. I mean, yeah, that might get cut later, but
You
Yeah.
wish.
Well, as ever, thank you for listening. Guys, thank you for being a part of this as well. Rob doesn't give me a heads up of what we're going to talk about really beforehand much. So I'm sorry that you had to be subjected to that D&D section. Hopefully people forget about it just like they did Kendall Jenner solving hate crimes by giving people Pepsi.
I didn't even get the inside joke when you did that first.
I thought that was the obvious part.
Oh, what when we were doing the D&D?
Yeah.
That's why I rolled with it.
No one
and
got
didn't-
that.
Yeah.
Oh,
No,
I'm
you know what?
not with you
Oh.
today.
Perhaps some of the listeners now that maybe didn't get that won't feel as bad now.
No, I have to leave it in so that they can hear this part and understand.
I
Terrific.
mean, you just...
Well, as ever, guys, embrace the day.
And just like that, we digress.
I digress.
X.
I just wanted to get ahead of Lyle. I knew Lyle would fuck up.
What if it's just gone
Yeah,
with
to
the
be fair,
Y?
that last 5 letters in the alphabet are not much more.
Well, just go straight for Z. Elemental Z.
I was trying to contribute early so I don't have to get involved in the last 5 letters.
Oh my
I'm
days.
dipping out at P every time.
B.
C.
D.
E.